quadruped, and I want a block between your knees so you can crush it. And then we're gonna bias ourselves into flexion with like lumbar flexion, thoracic flexion as we do cervical spine. So as you go into cervical extension, try not to also extend the lumbar spine as well. And let's just see how that feels different today, okay? So everyone in quadruped, if you have wrist stuff going on, feel free to go on fists instead of on your hands, and that's totally fine. So all together, in quadruped, crush that block between your knees. You can do whatever width feels better for you to create more tension. Take a breath in, pack that air down, round your entire low back, thoracic, everything. And then now, slowly tuck your chin to your chest. Scrape your collarbone to the left. Give me a little lateral flexion, extend, look up to the ceiling, but don't lose the flexion of your upper back. Stay rounded through the rest of your spine, rotate all the way to the right. Drop the chin down on that side. Scrape the collarbone back to the center, pass through for rep number 2. We're gonna go in the same direction for time. You're still maintaining flexion of the rest of the spine. Good. Notice how gravity plays a little bit differently here. And when you're blocking everything else, how much extension of that circle do you really have? And reverse direction. Good. Try to expand the circle still. See if you find different either pinch points or different sticky zones in this bias position. Still about 20 more seconds. Try not to speed up or slow down. Squeeze a millimeter more out in every direction. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good. Go ahead and keep the block between your knees, and then you can either hug a block today or just cross your arms over your chest for the rest of the spine. And all together, take a breath in. Good, brace, squeeze your butt cheeks, crush the block between your knees. If you're hugging a block, squeeze it, and now slowly flex around your spine from the top down. Try to keep your pelvis in place. When you hit your end range flexion, rotate to your left, spiral your whole torso left. Feel that side body working. And extend, hold the rotation as you extend. Try to get one segment up at a time. Squeeze that upper back stuff, squeeze that erector stuff. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And extension, hold max extension, fight for max extension as you rotate to your right. Rotate more, rotate more, rotate more, and start to flex. Pull the elbows in. Keep your butt cheek squeezed. Pull those elbows in. Round over the block. Pass through for rep 2. Spiral, 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 spiral. Good. Start to move into extension again. Again, you don't have to stay exactly with me, but move 1 mile per hour and try to be conscious of where you're moving. Extend, 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 and rotate. Pulling the elbows in again. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and reverse direction. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Give me a little bit more. Try to get more pieces to contribute. Extend. Good job, everyone. Keep that pelvis nice and still. Try to fight for another millimeter in every direction. Big open chest as you go into extension. Squeeze that upper back stuff. Try to make it cramp. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. You're gonna keep your block, or if you didn't have it, go ahead and grab it now. Put it between your hands. You're gonna both crush it, and both try to like pop it this direction and crush it with your grip. If you don't have a block, that's okay. You can just squeeze fists, and that's no problem. Take a breath in. Good brace. Think ribs to pelvis, butt cheek squeeze. Crush the block that's between your knees. And now shoulders up into your ears. Retract, squeeze, pull the shoulders back. Hold them in retraction and drop them down to your back pockets. Protract, punch them forward. Spread them apart, trying to let your rib cage change even a little. Up into your ears. Retract, squeeze, pull them back. Try to keep the elbows straight. I see some elbows bending. Drop them down to your back pockets. Protract, punch them forward. Again, think about that dry erase example. The board is right next to you and your dry erase marker sticking out the side of that shoulder, and you're drawing a nice big circle on the board that's next to you. Keep moving the same direction for time. Squeeze a millimeter out, make it a nice smooth circle. Try not to make it with choppy edges, and reverse direction. Still crushing the block, both in your hands and between your knees. Rib cage is still down. Elbows are still punched straight. Head is staying in place. We're not jutting our chin forward. Not flaring the ribs. 20 more seconds. High levels of effort here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Awesome. All right. Shoulder. Now we'll start with the right shoulder. Let's go in a split stance, or like half kneel, hit half kneeling position. You can either use a tennis ball or not. Your left hand, I want you to either brace across your ribs to just give you a little feedback if you're rotating, or you can squeeze your hand out to the side, anywhere where it's not going to be in the way and what's going to help you create more success. You can choose to have a ball in the right hand if you want to, or just keep straight ninja fingers the whole time. Take a breath in. Good brace. Squeeze, scissor your legs into the ground. Now the whole arm spiral into external rotation. Cross your midline. Move up into overhead flexion. Pay attention to where it is today. We're going to be working on this. Now freeze. Try to initiate from the shoulder, not from your hand. Rotate from the shoulder. Think roll the bicep inward as you reach back. Try not to hike your shoulder up into your ear though. Spiral. I see some torsos rotating. Try to stay square. And reverse. Reach straight back. Try to keep it in true extension. So think straight behind you, not out to the side. Unwind. Reach up. Good. Pass through. Externally rotate more. Cross your midline. Reverse again. Spiral more. Into overhead flexion. Rib cage stays down. Freeze at the top. Whatever the top is for you. Now again, from the shoulder, try to get that deep meat to move. Spiral inward. Your hand can follow. Keep spiraling and reaching. Knuckles face your thigh. Reverse, extend. Unwind. Reach up. Got about 10 seconds left. Try to wring out a little more in every direction. Nicely done. And time. Switch sides. We'll go left arm. Again, right arm can go either across your stomach or out to the side, creating tension. Left arm stick straight and breath in. Ribs to pelvis, butt squeeze, scissor your legs into your mat. And externally rotate. Adduct across midline. Squeeze that chest stuff. Come into your best overhead flexed position. And freeze. Now again, just try to initiate from the shoulder. Rotate, the hand can follow. Keep the arm close to you as you spiral more and reach back. All the way till knuckles face the thigh. Reverse. Keep the arm close to your body, trying to let it kick out to the side. Good. Start to reach back up overhead. Unwind. Reach up. Cross over. Back down. Make sure you're crossing into adduction too. So cross your midline. Up overhead. Try to keep the shoulder down. Trying to let it hike up into your ear. Freeze. Now spiral inward. Internally rotate. Rotate. Spiral more, spiral more, spiral more. Good. Reverse. Got about 15 seconds left. Try to expand the circle. Again, imagine that you're stuck in your own little slot. Try not to run into it with your arm. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Awesome. Let's go ahead and go standing for elbows. Just give the knees a little break. So elbows facing forward, they're not going to change position. And again, I want you to think imaginary heavy bicep curl, like weight that's almost impossible to move, but you're barely strong enough to actually get it to move. That's how much force I want you generating through those elbows. So elbow pits facing forward, breath in. Good, brace, butt squeeze, tension down the legs, root yourself into the floor. Supinate, rotate your palms toward me, and flex. Heavy imaginary bicep curl. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Your arms should be shaking all the way up. Now pronate, rotate your palms toward me. Don't let the elbow pits change position. And heavy tricep extension. Drive, try to feel tricep stuff. Drive, drive, drive. When you get to the end, squeeze tricep stuff more. And supinate, palms face up. Flex. Driving the tension through the elbows. Think biceps all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. And pronate, palms toward me. And extend. Heavy, heavy, heavy. The air is really thick. Now stay with the palms down and flex again. Supinate at the top, rotate palms to you. Extend. Pronate, palms face down. Flex. Supinate, palms face you. And extend. Beauty, nice job. All right, arms in front of us like we're holding a tray. Let's go closed fists today. Breath in, good, brace. Squeeze those fists, flex your biceps, still squeeze your butt cheeks, root yourself into the floor, pinkies in toward midline. Don't lose that fist clench. Extend, feel the top of the hand working. Thumbs to the outside and keep that fist clenched. Curl your fists, flex, 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 flex more, flex more, flex more. Pinkies in and extend. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Thumbs out. Flex. Reverse, thumbs out. Extend. Pinkies in. Flex, curl, curl, curl. Thumbs out. Extend. Pinkies in. Flex. Shake it out. Good. Let's go sideline for hips. So if you have a pillow or a block, either one will work. Let's lay on your left side. We'll move right hip first. If you have a tennis ball, I want you to throw it behind your right knee and crush it. Now, when it's there, again, don't just let it hang out behind your knee. I want you to actively squeeze it there. If you have another pillow or a block to hug in your arms, you can try that. Remember, I want your pelvis stacked on itself, so trying to let your hips kind of roll backwards. So imagine there's a wall immediately behind you that's keeping your hips stacked on each other. Shoulders are stacked on each other. Good upper body strategy for tension. Now again, try to mindlessly move through space, but feel the stuff that's pulling you in each direction. Take a breath in. Pack that air down, ribs to pelvis. And now front side anterior hip stuff. Squeeze that, flex. Bring the knee up towards the armpit. Squeeze more, squeeze more, squeeze more, freeze. Now outer hip stuff. Open to the ceiling, but don't let your pelvis roll backwards. Only as high as you can. Freeze again. Now internally rotate, spiral inward, spiral inward, spiral inward. Freeze, keep squeezing the tennis ball behind the knee. Now extend, but don't let your ribs or your spine change position. Feel that hamstring and glute work, all that posterior stuff. Drop down till the knees meet each other. Ribs can stay in position again, and extend back, still crushing the ball behind the knee. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Abduct open to the ceiling. Start to let the rotation happen. Drive the knee back up towards the armpit. Squeeze that front side hip stuff again. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Drop back down. And continue to tick-tock around, back and forth. Squeeze. We're not doing hip stuff today, so take this opportunity to get some good input into those hips. Try to give me a millimeter more in every direction. High effort here. Nothing else is moving. Femur is moving on a still pelvis. If there was a line from your belly button down to your pelvis, that line length should not change. If it changes, that means that your pelvis either change position or your spine change position. Try to keep everything else still as a statue. Good, keep working. You know it's starting to get fatigued now. Keep working. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, rest. Awesome. And switch sides. Whoa, throwing tennis balls at myself. All right. Laying on your right side now, put the tennis ball behind the left knee. Crush it. Upper body strategy for tension. Hips stacked on each other. Take a breath in. Good, brace ribs to pelvis. Now that line doesn't change. And now front side hip stuff. Squeeze it to drive the knee up towards the armpit. Abduct open towards the ceiling. Feel that outer hip working. When you can't go anymore without moving the pelvis, freeze. Now think about spiraling your femur, your thigh inward. It's gonna rotate the heel back. Fight for more. Feel this kind of outer stuff almost cramp and kick back. Don't let that line change. Be mindful of what else is moving. You can keep your hand on your torso if that's helpful for you. And then crush your block with your right arm. Extend back, squeeze. Keep crushing the block or the ball behind the knee. Open towards the ceiling. Let external rotation happen. Drive the knee back up towards the armpit. Back down. Good, keep working. High tension here. Upper body statued. Bring out a little bit more. Try to keep yourself as honest as you can so that we get the deep tissue, that deep capsular tissue movement. Get some blood flow going there. Movement is gonna pull blood flow in. Get some new nutrients to that deep tissue. Keep going. Good job, everyone. Rocking it. I can see all of you. Got about 15 more seconds. Trying to speed up or slow down. Just give me a little more effort. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, rest. Awesome. Let's go ahead and sit up for knees. You can stick your left knee wherever, or your left leg wherever you want it. Let's go right arm, underhook your right leg, grab your bicep, bend your elbow, put it on top of your thigh, pick it up, give it a good squeeze. Now actively pull your heel to your butt as close as you can. Dorsiflex your ankle, pull the toes towards your face. Now from the knee down, watch your shin, get your shin to rotate to the outside, externally rotate. Now extend, and if you're really flexible, do not lock your leg out, but stop just shy. And internally rotate, try to get that shin to rotate inward. Flex. Externally rotate, extend, internally rotate, and flex. Good, stay in and extend. Externally rotate, flex, internally rotate, extend, externally rotate, and flex. Beauty. Other side. Left arm underhooks left leg, and grab your bicep, flex, grab on top, pick it up, give it a good squeeze. Dorsiflex, start with the heel pulled as close to your butt as you can. Externally rotate, extend, internally rotate, flex. Externally rotate, extend, internally rotate, flex. Try to see if you can get minimal ankle movement here. Extend. Try to again initiate from just below the knee. Maybe feel hamstring stuff working. Externally rotate and flex. Internally rotate, extend, externally rotate, and flex. Good. Sorry, someone just popped into the waiting room. Let's see who that is. Oh, Lily must have gotten kicked out. All right, ankles. If you have your block, go ahead and throw your block underneath your right kind of Achilles, calf. Straighten that right leg all the way out. I want you to actively lock your legs straight. And now your own 1 mile per hour. I want you to draw the biggest circle that you can, 2 clockwise and 2 counterclockwise with that big toe. Squeezing the ankle stuff. Again, trying to be mindless about it, but when you move into dorsiflexion, feel the top of your ankle working. When you move into inversion, feel the inside of your ankle working. When you go into plantar flexion, feel the back side of the ankle working. And if it feels totally foreign to you, just now every time you do ankle cars, try to slow down a little bit more and see if you can connect with that stuff a little bit better. All done. When you've done 2 each direction with your right, switch sides. And repeat with the left. Try to make sure that your thigh and your knee are not moving. Nice job. 1 mile per hour. If it feels choppy in any one corner, maybe that's where you spend some more time doing quarter cars and just kind of move through that particular corner. Get a little bit more experience there. Good. All right. Toes. Go ahead and plant the feet. Walk them out as far as you can without losing contact of the ball of your foot. And now looking down at your toes, lightly press your outer 4 toes down. Lift the big toe by itself. Back down, big toe up. Back down, big toe up. Good, back down. Press the big toe down, lift the outer 4. Try to keep even weight distribution through the bottom of the foot. Back down, outer 4 up. Back down, outer 4 up. Now lift all of them up. Put just the big toe down. Back up. Big toe down, and up, big toe down. Good, up again. Now abduct, spread your toes, reach the pinky toe as far to the side as you can, and then piano key sequence, 1 at a time, down to big toe. Up again, give me a better toe spread, reach that pinky toe out. Let it hit first. Piano key sequence back, 1 more time. Abduct, reach, drop down, 1 at a time. Excellent. All right, time for training. We're gonna start with the right shoulder. So again, typically what we've done for side lying internal rotation is just that, where we're laying on our side using kind of a block or a pillow. But now what I've found is, especially for those who do have a lot of range of motion in the glenohumeral joint when it comes to this internal rotation, eventually they gain enough range to where they run into the floor, so then they can't really train it anymore, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a wall, because then I can actually create some more space for those of you who do have a little bit more range, and it just puts the arm in a slightly different position, so you just get to target the tissue a little bit differently. So we'll start with the right arm first. Like I said, I'm gonna just lean kind of up against my stand here. And then can you all see me okay? Yes, awesome. Okay, great. So from here, I'm gonna lean my right side body against the wall. Now the height of my elbow is an option, so if you haven't trained a lot of internal rotation in the sleeper position, I want you to bring the elbow down below 90 degrees and then start there. I want the elbow bent to 90, and then you're gonna use your left hand to slowly guide the arm. And again, trying to focus just on the lower half of the arm, but watch your upper arm bone, your humerus, spiral inward, because that's what I want to get to move here. And now, again, because you're all, well, most of you I think are muted. I didn't actually mute everyone today. I usually, in in-person class, would not tell you where you should feel stretch, but because I can't actually just ask you all since you're in position, I will tell you that you should feel the stretch on the posterior side or the back side of the shoulder. So if you're feeling stuff on the front, that's technically a closing angle, and that's not where we want it, okay? So I should be able to find a stretch on the back side of the shoulder. Now, a couple variables that you can play with as well are your torso angle. So if I'm kind of leaning inward more and rotating inward more towards my shoulder or towards my elbow, or if I open my chest back more, and again, the height of the elbow plays a part as well. I don't necessarily want anyone going above 90 today, just because that's something that if you have no experience there, even just training in the kind of a normal position here, typically doesn't go very well for people. So I want everyone to either be like at 90 or somewhere kind of on this canvas below, because like we're going to talk a lot about zones today. So like this is internal rotation. If I bring my elbow down here, this is still internal rotation. If I bring my elbow down here, this is still internal rotation, right? So I have all of these zones of internal rotation, and there's no one that's right or wrong. So I want all of you to play with those zones and see where you feel the best stretch through the back side of the shoulder. And then once you find it, I want you to solidify yourself there, holding that stretch, don't lose it, and then just focus on your breath. I want you to slow everything down, think slow breath in, slower breath out. You can position your feet however is comfortable for you, because when I ask you to irradiate, I found that I can push my feet kind of onto the floor and then use them to drive myself kind of almost into the wall to create more tension that way. And then with my left leg up, I can actually block my left elbow on my inner thigh, which also helps kind of create a good brace for me to produce force in. So you can play with those kind of things. And again, whatever's going to give you the most success. So everyone should be in a stretch, and if you can't find it, feel free to unmute yourself and I can help you kind of problem solve. The pales in this position, so no one move yet. The pales is always contracting what I feel stretching and moving in the direction that would get me out of the stretch. So in this position, I moved this way to get into it. So pales to get out of it would be trying to move toward external rotation, but my left hand is a statue and it's not going to allow me to move even a little. So I'm holding myself at my end range where I feel stretch. For this one, I'm gonna say, if you've never trained this before, I don't want you to push harder than maybe about 60% of your perceived max effort today. If you have been doing this work for a while and you train this often, then you can, I trust you to know yourself and to know that you can or cannot push harder than that. So I'm gonna stop cueing everyone at 60% of effort. But again, if you've been doing it for a while and you know you can push harder and it's safe for you, then you can feel free to push a little bit harder. Rails is going to be the opposite, where again, where I had you kind of looking at your upper arm bone to spiral into internal rotation. I want you to, when we get to that point, look at that and try to get that bone to rotate more to the inside and squeeze whatever would allow you to get into more of internal rotation. And something that I talked about, I don't remember if it was in class or if it was in just a video that I posted on Instagram a couple weeks back, about making your rails efforts overcoming isometrics. What I mean by that is, the pales is an overcoming isometric, meaning I'm driving into something that's not moving, which is my top hand. That's my immovable object. So by doing that, it's forcing me to recruit more motor units, teaching me to produce force right here. And when I do rails, if I don't put anything there, it's just what we call a yielding isometric. But, which is powerful, but it's not as powerful as an overcoming isometric. So what we do on the rails, when I say 3, 2, 1 rails, as I try to rotate my upper arm more, I want you to switch your hand from the top of your forearm to the underside and almost like you're just gonna fight yourself. So I'm fighting to rotate more, and my top hand is gonna be trying to pull my arm out of position, but I'm not gonna let it happen. So it's just gonna force me to work harder here, okay? Does anyone have questions about what we're about to do? Well, all right then. So round one, again, pails, we're contracting what's stretching, rotating up into our own arm. I'm gonna stop everyone at 60, but if you know yourself and you can push harder, then I trust you to know yourself better than I do. Take a breath in. Good brace. And now nice and light at first. Contract where you feel stretching. Try to rotate the upper arm out of position by driving the wrist into your top hand, 20%. 40, 60, and hold, hold, hold. Try to keep the same level of output the whole time. Try not to let your effort fluctuate. It's gonna happen, especially if we're inexperienced here. Over time, we'll get better at it, but keep giving me your best. If you're at 60, it is a good amount of effort, but you should be able to just maintain this here. Keep holding, keep thinking rotation, keep thinking rotation. Less than 10 seconds left, hold. Keep driving. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, rails. Try to rotate in more, switch your hand to the underside, try to pull yourself out of position, but don't let it happen. Keep fighting for more rotation inward. Fight for more, squeeze. This one's okay to be a max effort. Give me your best. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Give me more, give me more, give me more. 5, 4, listen to my cues. 3, 2, 1. Bring the hand back to the top as you relax. Gently guide yourself into more internal rotation until you find a stretch on the back side of the shoulder again. You may have gained a lot of range, that's okay. You may have only gained a little bit of range if you've been doing this for a while. And then hold yourself in the stretch at your new end range. Do the best you can not to come out of position. We want to keep giving force input to this tissue. Once you find that stretch and you get comfy there, I want you to just slow everything down again. Slow breath in, slower breath out. Relax into this position. Good job, everyone. I'd ask you how you're all doing, but I realize both hands are occupied, so you couldn't give me a thumbs up anyway. At least not one that I could probably see. Nicely done. We're gonna take a couple more breath cycles here, and then we'll do a second round of pails rails. Here we go. Take a breath in. Good brace. Even squeeze a fist and flex your bicep on the arm that's working. Now start to rotate 20% of your max effort. 40%. 60, and hold. And if you have more, you can. Just recognize it's going to be a longer pails contraction since the rest of us are doing sub-max efforts. Keep driving, keep rotating. Again, try not to let the effort change even a little. Feel that back side of the shoulder working. Keep going. Great job, everyone. Less than 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails, other direction. Bring the hand underneath. Fight yourself now. Try to pull yourself out of position. Don't let it happen. Give me your best. Rotate into more internal rotation. Don't let your shoulder blade leave the wall. Rotate more. Rotate more. Rotate more. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As you relax, bring the hand on top again. Slow your breath down. Find your new end range. You may have even still gained a little bit more. And then in this new end range, I want you to give me 2 to 3 slow breaths here. And then if you want to come out of position, you can. But slow everything down. Hang out just here for a minute or so. Probably less than that. Well done. Then come out of position if you need. How'd everyone feel? How we doing? Got 1 thumbs up, 2 thumbs up, 3. Oh, I got a double on that side. We'll count that for 2. Hey, there's one that just the thumb came back. Good. Okay, so that, again, because most of you have either done this work or are certified in this work or have been here for a while, we know that pails and rails overrides the stretch reflex, which is what stops us at our end range. So everyone potentially just gained either a few millimeters or even a few inches, a few more degrees, regardless of internal rotation. Now it probably feels good, it's gonna feel good later, but again, unless we do more to capture that end range of motion and to solidify it, then it's just gonna go back to what it was, right? So it's something that we can't just do the one input. So what we're gonna do now is our passive range liftoffs, where we come just out of our end range, and then I'm trying to actively rotate into it. So I'm gonna come closer to the camera so you can get a better view, but then I'll move back to the wall when we actually go to do it. So imagine that the wall is just here on my right side, okay? So what everyone will do is they'll still gently guide themselves to end range of internal rotation. And then if I asked you to rotate more, you wouldn't be able to because you're at your end range, right? So what I'll have you do is after you find your end, everyone's gonna slowly back out until they do not feel a stretch in that posterior side of the shoulder anymore. And then my left hand is now my target. So my left hand is gonna stay exactly where it is. And I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1, lift off. And I'm gonna lift off of my top hand by rotating into more internal rotation. I'm gonna squeeze and try to fight for more. Then under control, I'll return back to my left hand. I'll say 3, 2, 1, lift off, rotate, fight for more. Under control, come back, lift off, and come back. So we're gonna do 12 reps here of lift offs. We're just gonna do the 1 set, so I ask you to do the best that you can. Does anyone have questions about the lift offs before we do them? Alrighty then, let's go ahead and go back to the wall then if you moved. I want everyone to set up in more or less the same position you were in if you can. And then I want everyone to find their end, so slowly guide your arm to its end range where you feel stretch. Stop there. Now, very slowly come out of the stretch, back up until you don't feel it anymore, then freeze there. Awesome. Now from here, open your left hand if you're holding onto your wrist. Good. I think everyone can still see me over the dog. Here it comes. Good timing, dude. Thanks. Sit down. Sit. Good boy. Lay down. Thank you. All right. Now from here, remember, nothing else is moving. Your shoulder blade doesn't leave the wall. Your left hand stays exactly where it is. Take a breath in. Good brace. And now watch your upper arm internally rotate. Lift off. Squeeze. Try to give me more. Set back down. 1. Good. And lift off. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 2. Come back down. Lift off. Squeeze. Give me more. 3. Under control, back. Lift off. 4. Back down. Lift off. 5. Good. Lift off. 6. Try to make sure your elbow is not extending or bending anymore. Lift off. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 8. Lift off. 9. Think slow and controlled. Lift off. 10. Lift off. 11. Lift off. 12. And relax. Well done. Shake it out if you need. We have one more thing we're going to train on this shoulder before we move on to catch the left shoulder up, and that's, you probably already guessed it, eccentrics. We've been doing a lot of eccentrics the last few weeks. Now again, I always kind of, excuse you dog, I always kind of preface this with eccentrics, just like anything else, being kind of a choose your own adventure in how much tension you create, because they're very, very powerful. And again, with shoulder internal rotation, it's not something that I ever start any of my clients or any of my students right off the bat at giving me a max effort. It's something that they all build up to because it's untrained tissue in a lot of people. So that being said, what we're gonna do is you'll set up in the same position against the wall, but I'm gonna start more at my mid-range. So I want everyone to think their forearm is parallel to the ground. Then I'm gonna create equal and opposite pressure with both hands. So my top hand, let's say 50% is gonna push down, and my bottom arm is gonna push up at 50%. So nothing is actually moving. Then I'm gonna slowly allow the top hand to win. So I never stop pushing at the 50% or whatever percentage you choose. Just make sure they're both equal to start. And then let's say if I'm doing 50 and 50, my top hand is now pushing at 51, and it's gonna start to win until I get all the way to my end. Then I'm gonna relax. I like to just grab my own wrist here and then pull myself back up to the start. Then I'll open my hand again, press equal and opposite, and then I let 1% of effort happen more to get to my end. So again, if you've done this for a long time, you can give me, let's say a 99% and a 99%, and then the top hand is gonna give 100 to guide down. If this is new to you, I recommend that you start lower. Again, maybe at 50-50, and then the top hand starts to give 51 and it beats the top one, or excuse me, the bottom one. Whatever feels good for you, and obviously you can adjust as we go. We're gonna do just one set of these, and you should be pretty fatigued by the time we get to the last rep. I want everyone to take 6 seconds to get from their start to their finish. So if you know you start here, and by the end let's say you have a lot more range than I do and your wrist would hit the wall down here, you're gonna have to just move a little faster to go like 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you only move, your range looks something like from here to here, you're just gonna move a lot slower to move through those few degrees, and that's okay. Okay, does anyone have questions on these eccentrics? We're gonna do 5 reps. Alrighty then. So everyone's starting at kind of mid-range, forearm is parallel to the ground, top hand on top of the right wrist. Now whatever your percentage is, give me equal and opposite. And now the top hand pushes with 1% more, drive down for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Grab your own wrist, pull it back to the start point. Good. Breath in, or radiate, give me equal and opposite effort, and top arm wins by 1% more. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Grab on, reset to the top. Breath in, equal and opposite, top hand wins. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3. Grab on, reset. We have 2 more. Breath in, equal and opposite, top hand wins. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5. Grab on, or sorry, 4, reset. I can't count today, I'm sorry, I keep catching myself at least. Now the last rep, breath in, irradiate, equal and opposite, and top hand wins. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, relax. We are done with internal rotation on that shoulder. Great job, everybody. How we doing? Good, good, good. Grab some water if you need it. I'm gonna grab mine. I left mine way over here. We're gonna switch and catch up the left arm now. All right. So same thing. Again, don't just assume that you're gonna have the same amount of range on the left side. It might be a little bit different. So I still want you to play with those variables that I gave you for the right side in your torso angle being an option and your elbow height. Again, we can play with this canvas of internal rotation, of zones of internal rotation, and find where you feel the best stretch through that open side angle on the posterior side or the back side of the shoulder. So I'll give everyone some time here to kind of play with it. Again, I want a good 90-degree bend at the elbow, and then that never changes at any point moving forward. Again, if you have trouble finding the stretch, let me know, and I will help you problem solve. Once you find a stretch, this is your new home. We're gonna hang out here. Slow breath in. Ooh, a dog. Slow breath out. Very good job. Slow in. Slower out. Excellent. We're going to spend a little bit more time here hanging out in a stretch. Looking good, everybody. All right, let's get into round one. Remember, pails. I'm trying to contract where I feel stretching to rotate my arm up to the ceiling, but my right arm now is not letting that happen. Rails, I'll have you switch your hand from top to bottom, and you're going to fight yourself, trying to pull yourself out of position, but you don't allow it to happen. Take a breath in. Good brace. Solidify the rest of your body. You can flex your biceps. And now 20%. Rotate up, but don't actually let it move anywhere. 40%. 60%. Hold. Again, you can choose to push harder if you know you've been doing this for a while and your body is ready for it. Otherwise, hang out at 60. And keep driving. Great job. Working, keep working, keep working. And try not to let your output fluctuate. Hold that level of effort. Good. Less than 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails. Opposite way. Try to pull yourself out of position. Don't let it happen. Keep fighting. Ugh, I feel it's gross, and I know I feel it with you. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Pull, pull, pull. Don't let yourself win. Or it depends which arm you're letting win, but don't come out of position. Squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly soften. Gently guide yourself into more internal rotation. Try not to let your shoulder blade change position. Find the stretch on the back side of that shoulder again. Great job. Slow breath in. Slower breath out. Did we all get more range here? You like nod or shake your head. Oh, I got some nods. Solid. Good. Relax into the end. And then remember the time in between. So when you do this work on your own, if you're taking this with you to work on it this next week, the time in between sets is just till you feel ready to give that same amount of effort again. There is no right answer of like, oh, wait 20 seconds, wait 2 minutes, wait this long. It's just whenever you're able to give me that same level of effort, then you can go again. And it seems as though everyone is ready. So let's do round 2. Take a breath in. Good brace. Solidify everything, and now nice and easy at first, 20%. Start to rotate up into your own hand. 40%. Close your eyes if you need to. Imagine that upper arm spiraling in the socket. 60% hold. Keep visualizing it. Keep contracting it. Keep holding. Keep thinking rotation. Keep working here. Keep working. Keep working. Nicely done, everyone. Keep it going. Hold the same level of effort. Less than 10 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails. Try to go deeper. Actively rotate. Try to pull with the other hand, but don't let that hand win. Rotate more. Rotate more. Rotate more. Give me your best. Come on. Squeeze that stuff to fight for more rotation. Don't let your shoulder blade play along. Keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't come out yet. Relax. Gently guide yourself deeper into the rotation till you feel the stretch again. And then give me 2 to 3 slow breath cycles here. Slow in. Slower out. Slow in. Slower out. Good. If you need to come out of position, you can. Sip some water. We have our lift-offs next. Remember where we go to our end, we back out of it, we solidify there, and then we do lift-offs toward our end range of motion. Nice job, everyone. All right, lift-offs are coming next. So remember, we're going to go in the same position. I want everyone to guide themselves to their end range. Slowly back out till they do not feel a stretch, and then become a statue there. So let's go ahead and do that. Guide yourself down. Till I feel stretched, then back out just enough. And then if you find that your bottom hand is like super glued to your top hand, even though you don't feel stretch anymore, just back out of that range a little bit more. It just tells you that the gap between your passive and active might just be a little bit bigger, and we gotta back out closer to your end of your active range. So find a position of success where you can lift. Now again, the closer you are to your passive end, the harder it's gonna be to where your hand would barely leave the top hand. So if you're experienced in this work, I want you to challenge yourself a little bit to where it's almost like a sticky rep, as if you couldn't come off that hand, but you just barely flutter off of it. If you're new to this, I want you to give yourself a little bit more of a running start, give yourself a little more space to clear off the top hand. Take a breath in. Good brace. Open that top hand. Now it's your landmark. And lift off. Internally rotate. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 1. Rotate back. Lift off. 2. If you're lifting by a lot and it's too easy, you can adjust where your top hand is. Lift off. 3. I just did that to myself and it's gross. Lift off. 4. Lift off. 5. Lift off. 6. Lift off. 7. Lift off. 8. Lift off. 9. Lift off. 10. 2 more. Lift off. 11. Lift off. 12. And relax. Good. I know I want to shake it out after that. My backside of my shoulders feeling pretty fatigued. I don't know about you. We have eccentrics left for rotation, and then we're going to move on to overhead flexion stuff. Sip some water if you need it. And a little refresher for the eccentrics. We're choosing how much tension we want to give. We're giving it in equal and opposite directions, and then we allow the top hand to start to win. And we're going to take 6 seconds to get from the beginning to the end. We have 6 seconds and 5 reps, so 30 seconds of time under tension, and then we will move on. So I'm going to go ahead, go back to position. I want everyone to start with the forearm either parallel or just above parallel to the ground. Right hand comes on top of their left wrist. Breath in. Irradiate. Give me equal and opposite effort from both arms. Now top arm starts to win. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, grab your wrist, pull it back to the start point. Breath in, radiate, equal and opposite. Top arm starts to win. 6, 5, 4, 3. You should be at your end. 2, 1. Relax, pull it all the way back up, reset. Trying to let your shoulder blade leave the wall. Breath in, equal and opposite, and 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3. Grab on, reset. 2 more reps. Breath in, equal and opposite, and 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 4. Grab on, reset. Last rep. Breath in, equal and opposite. Top arm wins. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5. Relax. Whew, my shoulders are feeling some type of way right now. Very good, everyone. How we doing? I see some faces back closer to their cameras. We doing all right? Awesome, awesome, nicely done. Good. So we're gonna move on. This next one for the shoulder flexion. Like I said, I'm gonna use my stick mobility stick for this. If you have one, or a PVC pipe, you can use that. If you don't, your couch works great, or a dining room chair, or a stool. Probably, unless it's a short stool, but a dining room chair would probably work a little bit better. So go ahead and position yourself or get your props, whatever you need. And then I will show you how we're going to set up for this next thing. We're gonna move back to the right shoulder. So just like we talked about having a canvas of internal rotation, meaning this is internal rotation. If I bring it down here, this is still internal rotation. Down here, this is still internal rotation, right? So the same thing when it comes to flexion, that this is flexion, but then isn't this flexion and this flexion? And maybe you're now starting to question it. Is it still flexion, or is it flexion, or is it abduction? Okay, so we have kind of this whole canvas. So what we're gonna do is, in the beginning, if you have the ability and you don't have any closing angle pain in this scenario, so for flexion, remember, if I'm moving in this direction, this angle is getting larger. This is the opening angle where I should feel stretch stuff. This angle is getting smaller, or the closing angle. So if I should not feel any like pinching, burning, kind of wine tasting note sensations on that side, if you do, let me know. We never want to train through that. So for the first set of Pales rails, we're gonna go in, everyone's gonna go into their best kind of true overhead flexion here, okay? And then, so we're gonna do 2 sets here. We're doing 3 sets of Pales rails. We're gonna do 2 sets here, and then I'm gonna have you choose what zone of flexion you wanna move into, and you're gonna Pales rails in some part of this canvas for the 3rd set of Pales rails. Okay, does that make sense to everyone so far? Cool. So if you're using the stick option, again, you're gonna use your right one first, and we're gonna go in quadruped, so you can just watch me first. I'm gonna grab onto my stick, and then I'm gonna move the rest of my body relative to this shoulder to find my end range. So I'm gonna kind of move down towards quadruped. My hand will come to the floor. Again, if you have cranky wrists, you can feel free to be on your fist instead. And then I'm gonna, now from here, now watch, we've kind of talked about this in some of the other classes, but I don't want to just extend my spine, right? Because now I didn't actually really move my shoulder. I want you to think, keep the same spine position, and then I'm gonna elevator my torso down. And then again, we just talked about opening and closing side angles, so I should feel stuff on the underside on this opening angle here. And now obviously I can also play with like a little rotation of my shoulder, or my chest, excuse me, to find a better stretch. So once you do sink, see if you can kind of just scan a little bit, and you can play with even your scapula position. So if you're someone who does like handstands and things like that, or maybe you have to be protracted with your scapula, and overhead. Maybe you want to have your shoulder blade or your scapula protracted here and find a stretch. If you're not one of those people, you can play with either one. You can play, see if you pull your shoulder blade down to your back pocket, do you find a better stretch? If you push your shoulder blade up towards your ear, do you find a better stretch? Play with each of those little variables and see where you find the best stretch on kind of that underside, armpit, lat, side body stuff. And once you find it, you're going to solidify there, okay? If you're using a couch or a chair, you will just rest your fist on top of that object, and that is just as good. Everyone find a stretch here? Good. So from here, stay as you are. The pails, again, is moving out of the stretch, but without actually moving. So I'm going to contract where I feel stretching, and if you just peek your head over towards me but stay in your stretch, I'm thinking if I could do this with my arm, that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to contract this stuff here to try to drive towards extension, but nothing's moving. I'm just going to grip my stick really tight. Rails, I'm going to think, again, nothing's going to move, but if I could go into more flexion, I would. Some of you, depending on if we kind of override that stretch reflex, some of you might actually get the stick to leave the floor. But again, I want you to, this time when we rails, think back side of the shoulder stuff. I'm squeezing that from there to try to get the stick to be really light. So if there was a scale on the bottom of the stick, I'm trying to get it to read lighter as I rail. So I'll start at, I'd say it's at 100 because it was pushing down. And then when I rails, I want the scale underneath to say like 99, 98, 97, all the way to like 0.001 where it's really, really light on the scale, but I don't leave it, if that makes sense. So pails, I'm driving down. Rails, I'm trying to lift, but the rest of my body is not moving. Let's do set number 1 here. Take a breath in. Give me a good brace. Think ribs to pelvis. Corkscrew your left arm into your mat. Strong squeeze your butt. Flex your quads. Flex your hamstrings. Now 20%. Start to contract where you feel stretching. And think drive the stick into the floor. 20%. Ramp to 40. Ramp to 60. 80. Safest, greatest effort drive. Break the bottom of the stick through your floor. Drive it straight through. Keep driving. Keep driving. Keep driving. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails. Get the stick really light. It won't leave the floor most likely. Keep your elbow punched straight. Squeeze the backside top of your shoulder. Try to get the arm to lift higher. Still squeeze. Still squeeze. Still squeeze. More, more, more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly relax. As you relax, find the stretch again. So sink your torso down lower if you have it, till you feel stretch again. And then again, you can train that same line of tension, or you can scan for a new one, see where you feel your best stretch. And then hold in this position, slow your breath down. And try to keep that elbow straight to the best of your ability. Good job. Another slow breath in. Slower breath out. Round number 2. Take a breath in. Good brace. Everything is strong. Root yourself into the floor, into your mat. Squeeze your butt. Flex your hammies. Corkscrew your left arm. Now 20%. Drive the stick into the floor. 40. 60. 80. Safest, greatest effort drive. Break the stick through the floor. Come on. Keep contracting that underside armpit, lat stuff. Drive into the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rail. Squeeze. Try to lift from the shoulder. That would bring the hand closer to the ceiling, get that stick to be really light. Think if you could get it to just float a little bit, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly soften. Good. Now I want everyone to play with that zone that we talked about, so you can bring your arm out a little more to the side. How far you go is up to you. Find a different stretch here, a different line of tension, whatever feels good for you. You can even think, so if everyone just peeks at me again, if you do any kind of overhead stuff with, like, say, barbell, my shoulder is externally rotated, okay? So even, I know your hand is a fixed point on the stick, but you can still rotate the arm a little bit, kind of towards external rotation. So you can also play with that. So you can think like a snatch grip out a little wider, and then rotating the shoulder, like an axial rotation. And that'll change where you feel a stretch as well. You can do that too. And if you're not using a stick, you can just rotate your fist flat as opposed to having your thumb pointing up to the ceiling. Find a stretch there, and then let's hang out here for just a little bit. Slow breath in. Slower breath out. Slow breath in. Slower breath out. Let's go into round 1 of 1 here. Take a breath in. Good, brace. And now 20%, contract that stuff you feel stretching, drive the stick into the floor. 40%. 60. 80, your whole body's helping. Safest, greatest effort, drive. Come on, drive that stick through the floor, or at least leave a dent in the ground with it. Drive, drive, drive. Contracting from that shoulder stuff you feel stretching. Keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails. Contract the back side. Get really light in that stick, as if you could pick it up, but don't let your elbow bend. Squeeze. Squeeze and try to lift. Squeeze and try to lift. Keep going. Give me your max. Squeeze it harder. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly relax. Sink into your new end range if you've got it. Give me a couple of slow breath cycles here. And then you can come out of position. Good. Take your time coming out of position. Whew. Nicely done. How's everyone doing? Good, good, good. I see some people doing some of their own shoulder cards, just seeing how that feels. That's always kind of a good idea. See how it feels different from the beginning of class. I know that transition right there from flexion to internal rotation for me personally feels a lot smoother than it did in the beginning of class. What do you guys think? You too? Not sure yet? Maybe just fatigued? I got some head nods. Some people are still going through the car. Awesome. Good stuff. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is some lift-offs into that position. So how we're gonna do that, because obviously there's not necessarily an object that we're gonna leave from, what we're gonna do is instead, still using the stick, or if you have if you're using, I see some of you using like an object like in your kitchen or something, what we'll do is, so say if I come down and I drop my torso down here, now I feel end range. If I was to open my hand around the stick and try to lift higher towards the ceiling, I can't, okay? So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna position my torso higher so that, see how it pulled me out of my end range? Now from here, if I still like just kind of keep like this around my stick, so I just open my fist a little bit, but not, so I keep my fingertips connected so I don't drop it. Now if I'm here out of my end and I say lift, see how I can actually come up higher, and then I'll slide back down, grip, relax that stuff, and then I'll go again. Open, fingertips touch, lift, and then slide back down. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Cool. All right, let's get in position. We're gonna do 10 reps here of lift-offs. And then we're gonna go, so I want everyone back in that true overhead position, so think bicep close to your ear. We're gonna do 1 set of 10 here, and then we're gonna go back into the zone of flexion that you did for your 3rd set of Pales rails, and we're gonna do some lift-offs there as well. So everyone in their best overhead, bicep close to their ear. Make sure you're out of your end range just by a little bit. Take a breath in. Good brace, think ribs to pelvis, corkscrew your left arm. Lower half of your body is strong, and lift off. Slide the hand up the stick, squeeze, fight for more. Slowly come down just a little, grab on, relax. That's 1. And lift off, fight for higher. 2, slow and controlled back down. And lift off. 3. Lift off. 4. Lift off. 5. Lift off. Try not to rotate your torso. 6. 4 more. Lift off. 7. Lift off. 8. Lift off. 9. Last one. Lift off. 10. Good. Adjust out to the side where you did your 3rd set of Pales rails. Bring it right into lift offs here. Breath in. Good brace. And lift off. 1. If you rotated your shoulder when you did Pales rails, I want you to keep that same rotation here as well. So if you biased yourself with a little axial rotation, bias yourself in that way here as well. Lift off. 2. Lift off. 3. Lift off. 4. Lift off. 5. Lift off. 6. Lift off. 7. Lift off. 8. Lift off. 9. Last one. Lift off. 10. And relax. Whew. Good job. Time to catch up the left shoulder. I'm just gonna spin around so we get a left side view. My words are even going backwards now. That was really special. All right, so same thing. First 2 sets of Pales rails in your best true overhead flexion with the bicep close-ish to your ear as best you can. Trying to find stretch through open side stuff. You can rotate the torso a little bit. You can still play with axial rotation here a bit as well and find the best setup for you. Left arm punched out. Again, trying to also extend the lumbar spine or the thoracic spine. Once you find a stretch, hang out just there. Slow breath in. Slower breath out. Start to get our nervous system to trust us here. Get to relax. If you're so far into a stretch that it's uncomfortable and you can't relax, then you're too far into your end. And I want you to back out a little bit to where you can find some comfort and slow your breath down. Slow in. Slower out. Man, some of you have some gangster flexion. It's pretty awesome. All right, here we go. Round 1 of 2, or actually 1 of 3, I lied. Take a breath in. Good brace, corkscrew your right arm, squeeze your butt cheeks, flex your quads, lower body tension. Now where you feel stretch, contract, drive the stick into the floor, 20%. 40. 60. 80. Safest, greatest effort, drive. Leave a dent in the floor or break the stick through the floor. Come on. Give me your best here. Keep going, max effort. Don't let it fluctuate. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails. Try to get really light. Squeeze the backside of that shoulder. Try to get the scale to read 0.001 that's underneath the end of the stick. Keep it going, squeeze. Max effort, 5, 4, don't extend your T-spine, 3, 2, 1, slowly relax. As you relax, sink a little bit more for me. Find that stretch again. Remember, you can play with scapula, elevation, and depression, meaning raising it up into your ear or dropping it towards your back pocket. See where you feel the best stretch. Hang out just there. We're gonna do a few more breaths here before we do round 2. Here we go, take a breath in. Good brace. 20%, contract that underside stuff, drive the stick into the floor. 40%, 60, 80, whole body's helping, safest, greatest effort, drive. We want strength training levels here, drive, give me your best, contract that stuff, contract it. Keep going, good, do it to the best of your ability, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, rails, try to lift, squeeze backside shoulder stuff. Try to get that stick really light, but don't bend your elbow. Come on, lift from the shoulder, that's gonna bring the bottom of the stick to be lighter, keep squeezing, try to lift it, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, slowly relax. Beautiful job. Take a couple breaths, and then find your different zone of flexion, out a little wider. Again, you can play with axial rotation here. Find a stretch, and then live right there. Slow breath in. Slower breath out. Slow breath in. Slower breath out. Good. Here we go, round 3. It's your last pails rails for the day. Breath in. Good brace, corkscrew your arm into the ground. 20%, contract that stuff. Make the stick heavier. 40. 60. 80. Safest, greatest effort, drive. Good, keep working. It's your last one, give me your best, come on. Max effort. Fight for more, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't move, rail, squeeze the other side. Try to lift, get the stick really light in the floor, squeeze, try to lift it, make it float, come on. Squeeze, fight for higher, feel the backside of the shoulder working, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, slowly relax. Good, give me 2 breaths here, and then come out of position, shake it out. I know your right arm that's even holding you up is probably fatigued, because mine is too. But good job. Whew. Wiggle it out. Oh, we've got lift offs next. Starting at the bicep, or the bicep near the ear. Whew. That feels a little better. Do a couple shoulder cars if you want in between. See how that stuff feels. Good. All right, when you're ready, let's go ahead and go back into position. Left arm, remember we're starting in kind of true overhead flexion, bicep close to the ear. And then for this one, so if the sliding method worked well for you, you can do that. Or if you want, just because it's a little bit easier to gauge sometimes, is you can keep your hand, so you're gonna start just outside your end, to where now I'm gonna keep my hand as it is, and I'm actually gonna make the stick leave the floor, and then set it back down. I'll make the stick leave the floor, and set it back down. That is adding a little bit of external load, but for most of you, I see you're using a fairly light stick, so I'm okay with it. So we can do that as well. Find your best position here. Just shy of end range. 10 reps. Breath in. Irradiate. Nothing else moves, just from the shoulder, lift off. Make the stick leave the floor. 1. Relax in between. Lift off. 2. Lift off. 3. Try to be mindful what your shoulder blade's doing. Lift off. 4. Pick a position for it, keep it there. Lift off. 5. Halfway. If your stick is leaving the floor by less, it's just because you're fatiguing. Still do your best. Lift off. 6. Lift off. 7. Lift off. 8. Lift off. 9. Last one. Lift off. 10. And relax. Bring the arm out a little wider. Find the same setup you did for set 3 of Pales Rails. We have one last set of this. Here we go. Take a breath in. Good brace. And lift off. 1. Lift off. 2. Lift off. 3. Lift off. 4. Lift off. 5. Lift off. 6. Lift off. 7. Lift off. 8. Lift off. 9. One more. Lift off. 10. You made it. Oi, come out of position. Nice job. Let's everybody do a couple of shoulder cars on each shoulder to finish, and then we'll do some breath work and wrap it up. So you can pick whatever position you want for the shoulder car. You don't have to be kneeling. I just am because that's what's comfortable for me right now. You can stand, you can go tall kneeling, you can go in a half kneeling position, whatever you want. Let's go right arm, 2 reps, externally rotate, adduct, up through flexion, keep the rib cage down, internally rotate and reach back. Keep spiraling and reaching all the way till knuckles face your thigh. Keep internal rotation, reverse, unwind, reach up, back overhead, externally rotate, cross midline again, back down, and one more rep. Externally rotate, adduct, into flexion. See if that feels a little different. Internally rotate, spiral, 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 all the way till knuckles face the thigh. Reverse, extend back, unwind, reach up, externally rotate more, cross midline, and down. Good, left arm, breath in, good, brace, externally rotate, adduct, into flexion, internally rotate, reach, rotate, 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 spiral, 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 reach, knuckles face the thigh. Ooh, my shoulder almost cramped. Reach back, extend, unwind, reach up, pass through, externally rotate, back down, one more rep, spiral more, externally rotate, adduct, overhead, pass the bicep close to your ear as best you can, internally rotate, reach, spiral and reach, spiral and reach, spiral and reach, knuckles face the thigh, last half, reverse, unwind, reach up, externally rotate, cross, and down. Well done, everyone. Let's do some down regulation breath work today. So go ahead and find whatever position is most comfortable for you to relax and breathe in. That can be in positions of flexion. You can go side lying, you can go child's pose, you can go on your back, you can throw your feet up on your couch, whatever is best for you. I want you to try to bring all of your breath in and out through your nose. On your inhale, think about expanding your belly, expanding your rib cage, even expanding through your low back into the floor as well if you're laying down. On your exhale, think about emptying it all out. We're going to go for a longer cadence today. If the cadence I choose is too long for you, that's okay. I'm going to go with a 5-second in, a 10-second out today. If that's challenging, you can go down to a 4 in, 8 out. And if that's still too challenging, you can do 3 in and 6 out, whatever is best for you. I'll guide you through the first few, and then I will tell you when to stop. I'll just be quiet so you can all focus on your breath. Try to just bring your mind into connection with your breath here. Try not to think about anything else you have going on. Let's all inhale together for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue on your own. When you're ready, go ahead and return to normal breathing. Take your time getting up. Great job today, everyone. I appreciate you being here and I appreciate your effort always. If you have questions about things we did today, I will stick around and answer those for you. Otherwise, I will plan on seeing you all next week, and I look forward to hearing how your shoulders feel. Thanks, everybody.